This weekend, The Australian published a self-indulgent puff piece by Rod Bauer. You know, that bizarre man of the cloth who makes outrageous claims on his billboard out the front of his little church that hardly anyone goes to in Gosford. In it, he made a very serious, inaccurate and defamatory accusation against me. You might remember a few years ago there was a bit of brouhaha about Floreal milk. Well, referring to that incident, Rod Bauer wrote, "The spokesperson leading this actual act of terrorism against Floreal on the anti-halal website Halal Choices was of course unable to substantiate her claims." An actual act of terrorism? Seriously? This factually void statement is not supported with any evidence, no proof, no quotes from me, nothing. Demanding a choice and accurate information regarding halal certification is not an actual act of terrorism, Rod. Making wild and defamatory statements, however, is an actual act of stupidity. Rod Bauer has built his reputation on making stupid, sensational, outrageous statements, and it is very disappointing that he not only gets away with it, but is given a platform to spruik his lies in a publication such as The Australian. And he's endorsed by the Anglican Church. As the director of Halal Choices, I call for, wait for it, choice! I highlight the fact that most products are not clearly labelled, so consumers don't have a choice. In the case of Floreal milk a few years ago, I pointed out that milk is naturally halal, with or without the fees paid, to state the obvious. I didn't say Floreal funds terrorism. Show me that screenshot, Rod. It doesn't exist. I don't need to substantiate claims that I didn't make. But I would like to see Rod Bauer substantiate his defamatory claims against me carrying out an actual act of terror. But he won't, because he can't. And just for the record, Rod, you need to do some Googling about what an actual act of terror is. I don't think you know what it means. Let me give you a hint. An actual act of terror is something like the Lindt Cafe, or the Curtis Cheng murder, or the 2017 Queanbeyan stabbing attacks. Calling for choice and stating the obvious about halal certification does not constitute an act of actual terror. Rod Bauer went on in his piece to complain that he'd been ostracised for taking a stand. Well, cry me a river, Rod. I have had countless death threats from my opponents. I've been sent the most vile, graphic, threatening posts from Muslims wanting to behead me, rape my husband, yeah, right, stalk me. My opponents have also threatened to kill me and rape my daughters. They posted what they thought was my address on the internet with an explicit invitation to blow up my house. Along with members of the Q Society, I was dragged through a 2-year legal battle in the Supreme Court of New South Wales for allegedly defaming a halal certifier, but that fizzled out of court. Many consumers don't want halal imposed upon them. They want clear labelling and more regulation. They essentially want a user pay system. You know, if you want halal, fund it yourself. Stop imposing Sharia practices on all consumers. The Senate recommendations, as you know, were written and endorsed by then Senator Sam Dastyari. Do you know he's a Muslim? And he conceded all of these things and recommended exactly what we want. I suggest, Rod Bauer, that if you are going to have a whinge about something, do it on behalf of the actual victims of terror, not everyday Aussies who are standing up for what is right and good and fair in this country.